Hello, in this video I'm just going to shoot what the hell I like, and I'll explain a bit in a minute. We'll start with this one. I don't think enough of us these days shoot for ourselves. I don't think we're any longer immediately programmed to just go out and get some enjoyment from doing one of the things that we supposedly enjoy. Certainly that's true for me, because I'm always kind of primed to make content for these videos. But I think it's also quite true for a lot of other people as well. And what's happening, in my opinion, and obviously I'd like to have a discussion about this, but what I think is happening is that people are basically rushing for those little thumbs up and little hearts on social media. And I think social media has got a great deal to answer for in today's modern society. Because everybody these days has got a phone in their pocket, and that phone has got a very capable camera on it. Yeah, the likes of which most people would never have dreamed that they could carry even 2 decades ago, let alone when people were walking around with box brownie Kodaks. I think everybody has become a photographer. And whilst of course this gives a great many people an awful lot of creative power, of course the vast majority of people are only still using it for snapshots, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. You know, people should enjoy their lives and do so how they want. But also I think there's an effect, and the effect is bad photos. And this is going to sound awful, but I think the effect is bad photos giving rise to people liking bad photos. And what do I mean by bad photos? Well, often what I mean is people just going ooh and ah as though all of these oversaturated colours in these images, which are fake as hell, end up giving people the kind of firework mentality. Oh, isn't that wonderful, isn't that? No, it's not. It's someone grabbing a slider and pushing it all the way to 99 where it should stop at 10. So already you can hear the negative effect it's having on me. It gets my goat when I come out early and I get nice photos, or I travel some distance and I get some decent shots that I've really put myself out for, that the non-art lovers out there, so to speak, which are, let's face it, most of the people that frequent social media, take a look at perhaps a mundane image of mine and say, well, nothing, and look at an oversaturated, badly composed sunset from someone's phone and a version of Snapseed on E, then go, wow, 100, it's 100,000 bloody likes on it almost instantly, and it's like, obviously I've found the wrong audience. And of course it's all about audience, isn't it? It's about finding your right audience, and it's always been the same. Social media allows us to seek those audiences and perhaps find them a whole heap easier than we once could. If you think back to the days before social media, there were days before social media. Good God, there was even black and white television. If you think back to those days, how would people get their art noticed? They would have to keep submitting it in whatever kind of transmissible form they could to interested parties, and that would be, good God, by post. Not email, post. They'd actually have to physically get something printed and duplicated, probably quite a lot of times, and put it in an envelope and send it to people. And those people were probably rather specialist. They were galleries, they were magazines, they were all kinds of things that had people that kind of knew what they were talking about. And if they didn't like your image or your portfolio, you might not have even had a reply, let alone a little heart or a like or something. God, no. And of course, it wasn't instant either. Yeah, it might take weeks or months, and it was a long slog. You might have to do it multiple times with multiple different portfolios to get anywhere. Anyway, I've rambled on a bit enough about that. I've probably lost my thread a bit. My point is more that I see a lot of people just shooting for the likes, and I'm not necessarily going to be doing that today. You know, I'm going to shoot what I see and what I find interesting, what I find well lit, interesting colours, nice contrast, anything like that. I'm just going to shoot it almost regardless, and I'm going to put it up. So every single photo that I shoot today, unless it's multiples of something to get the right angle or something, I'm not going to put up anything from other shoots, only images from today. And the next one that I'm going to show you is something looking in this direction, because I just love the way the light is catching these groin markers in the sea over here, and the sea mist and the spray just kind of coming up and diffusing everything. There's absolutely no doubt in my mind that the best light of the day is the morning light. Yes, we get some lovely colours of an evening, but there's something about the morning that really excels, and it's the best time to get out, and it's so much easier at this time of year when the sun is rising over the sea here at about 7 a.m. So you don't have to be up with the lark. Well, assuming the lark follows the sun, you probably do, but you know what I mean, in order to get good quality morning light. As much as I might moan about this location, being on the east coast gives me these wonderful reflective light scenes on the groins and such. The way the light catches the sea, the waves, it's glorious. And yes, I moan too bloody much. I mean, this video is probably going to be mostly moaning. It's moan time in the year for me. It's a difficult time of the year, mentally that is, not photographically. And I've been speaking to somebody over the last few days who says that I'm so good at finding the small things and enjoying the small things. I struggle to explain this sometimes, and I possibly explain it wrong, but I do find it easier to see these things than make a great shot out of a big wide scene, because in a big wide scene where there is essentially not a great deal, you've got to make the shot work. You've got to send you've got to send the viewer's eye to the thing that you want them to look at, and that might be just the big scene. It might be that ship over there, which I don't know whether you can see at this distance on the wide angle view, or it might be one of these pebbles and the way the sand's been pulled by the tide as it recedes and covers it, and, you know, it's easier for me, and a whole heap easier for me, to find these small intricate things, because often it's just a case of walking and observing, than it is to work out how I'm going to make something interesting out of nothing. But I think there's something else that comes up from that, is that often social media reacts better to a great big scene than it does to a small intimate scene, and sometimes we're chasing the wrong things, because who are we trying to impress? What are we trying to do? What's the purpose of getting that like? Why do we do it? Well, the answer for me why I do it is a simple human need to be kind of noticed, to be validated, to be accepted perhaps. This friend of mine might make an argument that it's to be understood. And you know what? I think that's a valid point as well. Let me give you an example of how I think there's a problem with social media and photography. Photography in general. I don't think. Oh, excuse me. I've got some sand in my eye. I don't think it's a a problem overall in the art world, because I think people who like art, paintings, are often different from people that just consume photography. Because I don't know but that's my perception. I don't think the same happens in the art world. And of course, painting and art isn't as accessible as photography. Anyway, my point is that I've been submitting photographs to Frames Magazine's Facebook page recently, and I'll leave a link to Frames Magazine's Facebook page and therefore to Frames Magazine down below, or maybe I'll even put it here. And out of the first, I don't know, 10, 15 images that I put up, I can't quite remember now, I got what's known as 3 editors' applauses. And of those, the majority of those images were the least liked, so to speak. I don't know quite what to read into it, because readers of Frames magazine, you would expect photography, perhaps aficionados, maybe it's the wrong word, but proficionados, foticionados, anyway, but you know what I mean. And I think there's always an argument to say that any image is obviously subjective. You can't like everything. And I often find images that exist in these kind of photography environments to be somewhat lacking, whilst a lot of other people might say, oh, that's wonderful. And I don't know, it's just this subjective idea, isn't it? Yeah, you don't have to like everything, but do you have to comment on the stuff you don't like? Sometimes I find myself guilty of doing that, and sometimes it gets me into trouble. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes the comments are well received. I think part of the problem is how we conduct ourselves on social media. Often people say things on social media that they wouldn't say to somebody in a pub, because somebody on social media is only going to get angry at their keyboard. Somebody in a pub might get angry with their fist. So is social media therefore bringing out the real person? Is it bringing out the worst in people? Is it what is it? And how does it relate to working with these things and showing the results? I wish I could sit back and analyse it enough to fully understand it. I was eyeing this Lifebuoy up here as an image because you've got some colour contrast. We've got the reds against the blues, and it looked as though there was something possible there. But when I got here to shoot it, I realised that actually there's a problem because there's lines everywhere. We got the lines behind for the groin. We got the lines of the sea and the horizon there. We've got the lines of these bars. There's a concrete casting gap there, and the lines just didn't work with it, so I didn't shoot it. Maybe there's some other potential in it somewhere else, maybe looking that way down the tubes or something, but I don't, on second thoughts, I'm not going to. To me, that's a classic example of taking what should be a relatively simple shot and complicating it. It's complicating it with unnecessary guff. One of the things that I kind of need to point out here is that actually I don't care whether you like the photos in this video or not. If you like them, great, tell me you like them. If you don't like them, similarly, tell me you don't. No, sorry, I don't want to know. This is the point. It's really the point. It's that validation thing again, isn't it? If you don't like it, I don't care whether you don't like it. It doesn't matter. I had a shot from here, and yeah, you might think this is kind of staged as an idea, but it's just come back into my head. One of the shots from a previous video, looking down here at the, you probably can't see it here, little church on the horizon down there. It's about 5 miles away, and an inch or so next to it, over to land, there's a lighthouse. You've seen the lighthouse in countless photos, but I put up a shot looking in that direction with quite a rough sea in black and white, and on one of the local pages here someone said I would prefer it in colour. How do you know you'd prefer it in colour? You haven't seen it, you've only seen it in black and white. They may not have been quite the words you used, but it's like, I'm the artist here. Yeah, I'm putting something up for you to enjoy. I'm not putting something up for you to criticise. And while of course you're welcome to your opinion, you wouldn't turn round to a painter and say, oh, I wouldn't have put that character there, or that bridge is too close, or oh, that bridge looks a weird colour. You know, it's artistic impression. It's for people to express themselves in much the same way as you express yourself in daily life, whether it's debate, whether it's speech, whether it's dress, whether it's what you eat, whether it's what you listen to, whether it's what film you go and watch. All too often people are just happy to judge you on these things, and for some that's a problem, for others heck, they don't seem to care. This here is a far better example of what I wanted earlier. It's still got lines in it, it's got fewer lines, but crucially all the lines are pointing in the right direction. It's worth pointing out, of course, that this is an area that I walk quite a lot. I've walked past that and the other life belt quite a lot. Have I seen those shots before? I don't think I have. And getting a bit away from the social media idea and aspect of what we're talking about here, but it's more that it's just another topic of photography, and how you'll get better shots is by going back, frequenting the same places over and over, because just visiting once often just isn't enough to give you a true idea of the potentials there. I've shot these railings and seats and such before. I've got images that I thought were quite interesting, but when I've got them back on the computer I've discovered that actually the lines make them a little bit more confusing and such, and I've looked at them again at times, and as I'm looking at them now thinking there has to be a shot here, and just look, there's these steps and everything up there. It's just ripe for a high contrast, perhaps a black and white image there, but I haven't yet managed to to get it. It might just be the way the light's catching it at the time I'm here. We don't get sunsets hitting it any longer, so in summer we'll have the sun setting over the sea and we'll have the light hitting those in a different way. Maybe that's the time to do it. I don't know. I've got a feeling that that could possibly be it, but I'm going to have to wait quite some months to see whether that's a good idea or not now. I walk past this building quite regularly when I come down here. I never really pay any attention to it. I should, because again, it's full of lines and it's there's an element of interest to it, and just this yellow paint chipped here kind of got my interest. And yeah, there's just something kind of about it. Looking down this line, taking this out the edge of the frame a little bit, well, not out the edge of the frame but towards the left hand edge, and very shallow focus, looking just at the bit of paint chip and the rest of the kind of brutal concrete of this seafront building, and I think it's quite nice. I'd be very interested to know what your take on social media is. Do you shoot for yourself? Do you shoot to get likes? Is there another motivation? For me, there's all kinds of motivations. I need some validation. I'm still very much on a learning journey, and I need to feel warm and gooey inside, but I don't want people blowing smoke up my arse. Yeah, if a shot's good, it's good, and if a shot's bad, I generally say it's bad, and often, of course, you don't see the dross. But for me, there's something a bit more to it. For me, there's a need to make some money from it, and yeah, I don't like pointing this out, but you know, if any of these shots are worthy of hanging on a wall, as from any other video maybe, please do get in touch, because I will offer a print of any of them. You can send me Superthanks and buy me a coffee and all of that kind of stuff. I'm not saying anything more than that option's there, and I would very much appreciate any support that you could give me, even if it's just clicking on the like button, subscribing or sharing. These things are all very important to me, because ultimately we as much as I may profess that I'm not a particularly social being, yeah, we get lonely. We need some contact with people, whether it's people giving us green pieces of paper with someone's face on it, or whether it's someone just saying, yeah, we like that, you're doing a good job, thank you, that was entertaining, all that kind of stuff. And you know, it's why we do a lot of things. What gets me about the money aspects of social media is the influence of influencers, and yeah, a lot of them are just doing it for the bloody money. You know, Temu, for God's sake, the way that they bombarded me with offers of God knows what for weeks on end until I found a way of stopping them. Jesus wept. That just. But there's so many people out there that say, yes, give us all that stuff, all that free stuff. And you sad people. You're selling your soul for a piece of cheap-made Chinese crap that's good only for landfill. These elements of social media really get my goat. Yes, I've accepted some goods from the likes of KNF, and that's because I would find them genuinely useful. I have said to KNF, I will not look at something that has zero use to me. They offered me the tripod that I'm looking at some time ago, and I said I couldn't find a reason to want it. I couldn't find that interest, so therefore I would struggle to produce a piece of content that would be engaging to people with it. And you know, it took me a long while to realise actually what the benefit of that tripod was over my Giottos. And you may notice it's there on my back. You know, I'm carrying that. I'm not carrying the Giottos, and I've said this more and more in videos as well. I did say in one video that it wouldn't replace a Giottos, but as you can see there, well, I hope you can, I'm just pointing the camera. Yeah, that actually, for the time being, it has. And I can only explain that because I don't need, I'm working in an environment where this, it is on that shoulder, isn't it? Yeah, where that will do the job. But the point is that I won't look at things that aren't genuinely useful. If I don't have a use for something, if I can't find that use case, I'm not going to be able to enthuse over it in any way, shape or form. I may not even be able to discover a use case for it. Therefore, the benefit to me for having it and the benefit to K&F for giving it to me, and most importantly, of course, the benefit to you guys for me talking about it is lost. I'm interested in all of your comments and thoughts and such about social media, about the channel, about anything. Stick them down in the comments below. I read every single one, and I respond often quite verbosely to a number of them as well. So yeah, your opinions do matter. The algorithm would like to think that you'd be enjoying this video up here. Well, I'd like you to look at the one below it. In the meantime, thank you for watching. We'll see you soon.